Good afternoon, Yellow Jacket fans. My name is Dave Tressel. I'm the son of the late Dr. Lee and Eloise Tressel, and I'm here to tell you the story of the Baldwin Wallace National Championship in football in 1978. Here we are in Finney Stadium. This is really kind of where it all started. It was on a Saturday. We were playing Wittenberg, who at the time was our perennial rival in the Ohio Athletic Conference. And at that time, they had a championship game for the conference at the end of the season. And we figured that both BW and Wittenberg were undefeated, and the winner of the game would probably make the national playoffs in Division III. And at that time, there were only eight teams accepted into the playoffs from the whole nation. So it was really tough to get in. Well, the game ended up Wittenberg scoring toward the end. The score is 17-16. Wittenberg could have gone for 2 and won the game, or 1 for the tie. Well, they chose to go for 1 in the tie. And that's the way the game ended, because at that time there wasn't any kind of sudden death after the game. So there we were, waiting then till Selection Sunday. Would we make the playoffs? Would a tie on our record make it possible? Well, lo and behold, on Selection Sunday, we found out that both BW and Wittenberg made the playoffs. There were only 2 playoff games before we got to the championship with 8 teams. Our first game was against St. Lawrence University of New York, and we won that one 71-7. And we moved on to our next game was against Carnegie Mellon of Pennsylvania, and we won that one 31-6, taking us to the national championship game. In the upper bracket, lo and behold, Wittenberg won theirs. And so the national championship, just 3 weeks later, was going to be Baldwin Wallace and Wittenberg for the Division III National Championship. Well, this time they met, there was going to be no tie, because there was overtime in a national playoff. Well, we had a great quarterback in Joe Cerniak, who did the passing. We had great backs, John Sander, Bill Liggett, and Jeff Jenkins. They held down the line. We had a great offense and a great offensive plan. Then on defense, they just wanted to be prepared overall, prepared for anything that you would expect: run, pass, trick. Some of the defensive stalwarts, you had Bill Rickert and Bill Davis, Gary Stelter as a deep back, and Paul Petrella. Now, I've just named a few. The whole team was a team of all-stars. And so that was the team. They got the strategy. They're ready to go. A lot of the alumni were on chartered planes. The team flew down on a plane. And so we had the fans down there, and they were excited. They had the city of Phoenix City turned on and raring to go. So the game starts up, and BW was doing pretty well, and all of a sudden, Wittenberg has the ball. Gary Monda knocked the ball out of his arms, and Bill Davis recovered it. That set up our first score, which was a field goal by Tim Robinson that was made the score 3-0. So our defense was outstanding. We got the ball back, and we decided to go with a little trickery. Quarterback Joe Cerniak takes the ball, pitches it to John Sander, and Joe Cerniak runs out for a pass, and he catches a pass for a touchdown, the old halfback pass. We're ahead 10-0. Well, right before halftime, Doug Rush recovered a fumble, and that helped to set up another touchdown. And this time, it was Cerniak who faked a pitch and went around end into the end zone for 6. Tim Robinson was just awesome with his extra points, and so our score was 17-10 toward the end of the game. Well, it was a close game, and Wittenberg could get back in any way that they could. They scored, and they made it 10. And on the ensuing kickoff, BW was able to get the ball down and do well. They had to turn it back to Wittenberg, and our defense and our special teams were so key during the game. Our punter was a fellow by the name of Doug Schieffer, who was the all-conference punter, and he just was outstanding. We could always count on him. So our defense was able to keep them from scoring, but then John Sanner had one more score left in him. He ran around end to make the score 24, and the final score of the game was 24-10. So we load the plane, fly back to Baldwin Wallace. When we get to Hopkins Airport, the airport is full of kids, students at Baldwin Wallace, hundreds cheering them on and greeting them back home. They went over to the Heritage Hall. There's a bell there, and they rang that victory bell until, I'd say, 2:30 in the morning. I remember my parents went over there. Eloise and Lee went over there to help with the celebration. Lee Tressel was elected by his colleagues as the NCAA Division III Coach of the Year. That championship was a big deal, and it was more than just football. It was about people, about students traveling 36 hours round trip to see the game. By the way, they had finals that next Monday, so a lot of them took their books and studied while they were on the bus. It was about making Baldwin Wallace famous. We were known throughout the country and the world because of the TV and the press about it that put Baldwin Wallace on the map. And it also brought out the fact that we are a fine academic and athletic institution. And I would say that I'm just proud to be a Yellow Jacket. Aw Jackets.